Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of the most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
All right. We are back with another awesome episode. Back for another week. We are killing this shit. We are crushing this shit. I'm Power Maximus, and we're here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, and welcome to the Super Breakdown.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I love this show. I love doing this show. This shit's so fun. It feeds my soul, bro. Feeds my fucking soul. Man, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all level 7s, we got another awesome episode for you today. We're going to be diving into the genius and intellect and the savagery of the one X-Men known as Beast. And then, for the second half, we're going to be diving into the Raging Cajun himself, the massive cards master of kinetic energy. That's what he is. He puts kinetic energies into his card to turn them into
Correct.
yes. The Raging Cajun himself. Gambit, y'all. Mon shawty. All right. You want to say anything to the people before we start off?
Shit, I'm ready. Let's jump into it.
All right, fuck it. So let's go. First, so we're going to start off with the man, the myth, the beast himself, Dr. Hank Philip McCoy. First name also Henry McCoy. But normally called Hank. Now, originally called Beast, the character was introduced as a mutant possessing ape-like superhuman physical strength and agility, oversized hands and feet, a genius-level intellect, and otherwise normal appearance and speech. Eventually, being referred to simply as Beast, Hank McCoy underwent a progressive, physiological transformations, gaining animalistic physical characteristics. These include his blue fur and he has both simian and feline facial features, so he looks like a monkey and a cat in the face. Pointed ears, fangs, claws. Beast's physical strength and senses increased to even greater levels. Now, despite Hank McCoy's feral appearance, he is depicted as pretty much a genius. He's brilliant, well-educated man in the arts of science. He's known for his witty sense of humor and characteristically uses bard witticism. So pretty much for those of you who play D&D, you know what a bard is. If you guys watch those old time medieval, the bard is the motherfucker that walks around with the damn kind of like guitar, and he's singing all the goddamn time about what he sees. That's what a bard. So he's usually, imagine a giant blue man with fur walking around, doing that. He uses long words and intellectual references to distract his foes. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So my man, he's like think a big blue furry man who just walks around reciting Shakespeare on a regular basis. That's just like his thing. Now, he's a world authority on biochemistry and genetics, the X-Men's medical doctor, and the science and mathematics instructor for the Xavier Institute. Um, Also the X-Men's headquarters and school for young mutants. He also is a mutant. He's like a political activist for for mutant rights, campaigning against society bigotry and discrimination against mutants while fighting his own uh that's what was it? Like I'll say like his bestial instincts and fears of social rejection. Beast is he dedicates his physical and mental gifts to the creation of a better world for man and mutant. So yeah, he's a civil rights activist essentially for mutants.
Hmm.
When Triage, when do we first see Professor Hank McCoy come into play?
Well, Beast is actually excuse me, he is the fourth member to be recruited to the original X-Men team. The first being Cyclops, the second being Bobby Drake, and the third being Warren Worthington, who is Archangel. So we see him in the beginning in like X-Men #1 as, like you said, as a just the very athletic, sort of muscle bound member of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Now,
the thing that I would like to initially bring up is I was always curious if we really counted Beast as, I don't want to say an organic mutant, because his mutation actually resulted not from it being inheriting the X gene from his father, but from his father being exposed to radiation.
mm, well, now that depends. Now, I'd say now if you so the X gene, as you know, canonically is passed down from the father.
Correct.
Now, is it a possibility that the radiation, because we all have recessive genes, and the mutant gene is a recessive gene essentially that throughout time kind of become more popular. So is it possible that his father had a recessive mutant gene and all the radiation did was pretty much when he had a child made it non-recessive?
Oh, that's a possibility.
Now I took an interest in genetics back in school, and I'm pretty sure that can happen because from what I've learned, the human makeup, the human DNA literally has everything within it. Everything. Every possible everything. And all it takes is something to trigger that gene, whatever, for that side of the genetics to pretty much activate, essentially. That's what happens with the X gene. It doesn't trigger until something kind of triggers it, or unless you're born with it and it triggers that way, or you can be fucking 30 years old and go through a traumatic experience and it triggers your X gene. It kind of goes the same way. So there's a possibility that yeah, his father did have a recessive X gene, and then the radiation kind of triggered it within his son.
Hmm.
Yeah, because genetics are funky. Genetics are fucking random. It's random, so you never know. So instead of it being triggered in him, it gets triggered in his kids.
Okay, that does make sense.
Yeah. So hell I'd give him the um the organic mutant. I'll call him organic mutant. Um Also because like his mutation actually it evolves. that's how he ends up going from, like you said, just a muscle bound, big feet, big hands, super strength and agility, to now being even, to over time it evolving and him being even stronger, him growing the fur and all that.
Mm.
So I because his pretty much what I'm saying is because his X gene evolves naturally, which we don't really see too often. I definitely say it would be organic. You know,
Right. Okay.
like there's a natural aspect of as a mutant gets older and matures, their powers and abilities grow and mature as well. There's that side of it, but then there's like legit evolution of their power. So just like Jean Grey, let's put it as well, like Jean Grey. You know, when she's younger, her psychic abilities like they're strong, but they're not nearly as strong as when she gets older. I wouldn't call that evolution. I would just say that she's got older and being able to tap into more to her powers easier and better. On the other hand, with Beast, I'd say as he evolved, as he got older and matured, his abilities changed and evolved. You know what I mean? So there's a difference between pretty much just getting stronger and then evolving and becoming a different kind of power. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So if it Spike is a good example. So when he's younger, he's only able to just like grow the spikes out of his arms and shit like that. But as he gets older, he then be get he's I'd say his powers evolve. So now he's not just growing spikes. He's actually hardening his skin and creating and he's able to create an armor. I'd
Mm.
call that an evolution because it's not just spikes. Now it's a full armor. Now, in his instance, his powers getting stronger would be he's getting older. Now he can grow spikes from more areas of his body instead of just his arms and hands. That's a growth. An evolution is now those spikes now turning into an armor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I say. Because his powers were actually evolved, I would say yeah, I'd give him the organic as well. I'll give him organic.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, I always took Beast as like, well, his later on being his enhanced form was I always took it as the combination between like the strongest parts of a gorilla and the strongest parts of a lion.
Yes, yeah, I can definitely, yeah, I definitely see that because he is. Excuse me, sorry. Because again, like I just said, he's simian and feline, which I find that really interesting. Two animals that are on a complete opposite, lines of the genetic spectrum um, of the animal kingdom as well. So I always found that kind of interesting with him. Now, like Triage just said, so we see Beast from the beginning. Hank McCoy is a founding member of the X-Men. So we see him appear in X-Men #1 back in September of 1963. He's created by the late great Stan Lee and the late great Jack Kirby. Um, Now, Beast, he's been uh, affiliated with so many different groups, whether it be the X-Men, as we all know, Avengers, Defenders, X-Force, Illuminati, Secret Adventures, Secret Avengers. And again, his skills are genius level intellect, super strength, stamina, durability, speed, agility, reflexes, dexterity, healing, longevity, and heightened senses. He's proficient in science and engineering. Um, Now, one thing I found interesting, one of his abilities is time stream attunement. I have
Go on.
now I find that super super interesting. And that's something that I never really heard of too much with him, and I can only speculate what that means. So like time stream. being a metaphorical concept of time as a stream, as a flowing body of water. If you're interested in learning more about that, check out Brave New Words, the Oxford Dictionary of Science Fiction. Um, so pretty much it's narrowly defined as the series of all events from past and to future, especially with convenience of as shit. What was I'm trying to remember the definition off the top of my head. Um, it was especially when conceived of as one of many such series. Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to like kind of like wrap your head around when it comes to time and shit. And then attunement means pretty much like the adaptation and or being able to become one with something. So I can only imagine that being able to become one with the time stream or something like that. Um, but he also has pheromone manipulation, so that means he can change his pheromones. So at any point in time, he can just flip his pheromones and have shorties all on him if he wanted to. And of course, the razor sharp fangs and claws. Now, one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna go back and look into that time stream attunement a little bit more and kind of learn more about that because that's really really interesting. I've never before I started diving in and doing a little bit more research about him. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was one of his kind of like his abilities. Now, again, with Beast being a founding member of the X-Men, we see him everywhere, not just in the first issue, but everywhere. And of course, we see him in the movies. He was a big staple in the movies. It was amazing to fucking see him for the first time. Actually, see him for the first time in what, X3? It's the first time we see Beast.
Yes.
Played by Kelsey Grammer.
Yes, by the great Kelsey Grammer.
You're right. You're right. My bad. The great Kelsey Grammer. And then we see him played by Nicholas Hoult as a younger Hank McCoy in the prequel movies like First Class, Days of Future Past. Well, we actually see both. We have to see Kelsey Grammer and Nicholas Hoult play Beast in Days of Future Past, and then we see Nicholas Hoult take over in Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. But spoiler warning, if you have not seen the Marvels, Kelsey Grammer comes back to reprise the role for the MCU in the Marvels in the post-credit scene as Beast. As a more, I'd say, would you say comic book accurate, or would you say animated series accurate?
I'd say animated series.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was torn between the two, because because we see Beast, we like in I feel, yeah, I would say animated series, yeah, because the comic books end up adopting his animated series look after the show came out because it was so popular, so they end up adopting that, and now that's how he looks in the comics, depending on who's drawing him.
Correct.
Now, I always found it interesting that we really don't get to see again, him being a founder member. We don't really see him too much in the movies.
I think it was one of those things like where between popularity, who they could use and who they couldn't, and how to bring the character to life. So it's like they probably had him in mind from Jump Street, but it was one of those things, we don't want another Mortal Kombat Annihilation situation.
Explain.
Well, we've said before, like, we've joked about how Annihilation did have promise because that first Mortal Kombat is not terrible. There's still things wrong with it, yes.
Yes. But again, it's also about what they could adapt to the screen at the time.
Exactly. So between that fact and then the fact that they took all these characters, they stuck them in, and it's like if you didn't know who they were, you were completely lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have never played Mortal Kombat, watched that original movie, and had a good idea of what was going on.
True, very true.
That second, like with Annihilation, with all the characters being in it, and then you only seeing them for 10 to 15 minutes, if that, if you were lucky.
Yeah. I would, yeah, I definitely agree with that because I had no clue who Shiva was. I had no clue who, fuck, what was the centaur's name? Motaro, right? Motaro,
Yes.
the centaur. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had no clue who those two characters were until that movie, and I actually no, I didn't. I still didn't know who they were until what game was it? So one of the later games came out, and they actually had Shiva in there. I had no clue who she was. All I knew was that that's probably Goro's sister or some shit. Um, she's not Goro's sister. She's just the same species as Goro. Um, so so what you're saying is pretty much they didn't want to kind of like throw him in. They already had a lot of characters in it. They didn't want to like throw him in and just add another to like, oh shit, we want people. They wanted people who were the first time X-Men viewers to get a good feel of each character first.
Correct. And you never know because I mean, the X-Men movie we got might not have even been the original rendition of the script. That could have been 7, 8 scripts later.
That's true. And
It could have been one.
we can
No,
tell because sorry. We can tell it probably wasn't the first script because Last Stand wasn't the greatest. I'd peg that as the first as the start of the decline in the Foxverse. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible, but it didn't stand up to the first two. It really didn't stand close to the first two.
by
No
no
pun
means.
intended. Yeah. Um. So yeah, and I think they actually ran into that problem with this because they were introducing so many characters. First time we see Juggernaut. Um. Excuse me. Pretty sure was Kitty in X2?
Kitty was
Shadowcat?
her character was in every movie, but she's not really acknowledged until she's played by Elliot Page.
That
Excuse me.
no. You're right. Elliot
Okay.
Page. Yeah, you're right. Um, yeah, just want to be respectful. Yes, Elliot Page. But what which I like them. I like them as her. I really feel like that. I really feel like they played the character very well. So I would have liked to definitely see more from the character, but granted. Um, Now, yeah, who else? So, um, there was a lot of characters that we actually got to see really go in for the first time. We're introduced to Beast, we're introduced to Angel, we're introduced to Juggernaut, we're introduced to um there was a few big name mutants that were running with Magneto, but they just didn't name drop them. Like the Asian dude that could grow. He had like the spikes that can come out of him like a porcupine.
I want to say it was Quill.
Quill. Yup, we get introduced to Quill. Who else? Um, there was the mutant that we get introduced to Multiple Man,
Hmm.
which I thought that was really cool. I thought they did that very well. I thought he played it very, very well as well. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of mutants that they introduced in that last movie that kind of, and then we also had the whole storyline going on between Bobby and Pyro. Then we had the storyline going on with Rogue wanting to get into Cure. There was a lot going on in the movie. There was a lot of political stuff going on. There was a lot of street level stuff going on. Then we had the whole storyline with Dark Phoenix going on as well. So there was a lot going on in that movie, and so that I feel like that's again, so they end up doing what they were afraid of doing. Um, But again, Kelsey Grammer fucking killed that role from the moment he stepped on in that first scene where he's in the office and Xavier, Logan, and Storm walk in and see him in the office. The first time, from the moment we see him, ah, amazing. Just that smooth turnaround. Oh, no. And and he just absolutely killed it from there. Um, and just the prosthetics were great in that too. His prosthetics were amazing, at
Mm.
least in my opinion. What did you think?
Well, no, I thought they were. I thought it was very well done, but that might be also a thing too, because let's not forget bringing that character to life. It might have been an issue trying to find someone one who could move the way they needed them to in the prosthetics, and two feel comfortable being in the prosthetics for that extended period of time. Because you got people who got to wear makeup sometimes for the better half of the movie and be head to toe in makeup. So it's like sometimes everyone's built for that.
Yeah, look at Jennifer Lawrence when she did her portrayal of Mystique. And who was the first chick that played Mystique?
Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah, Rebecca Romaine. Both of them had to be head to toe. Both like the prostheses were very minimal, but the makeup was head to toe.
Right.
So, but again, if you look at her suit, look at the way she was pretty much naked the whole time. So there wasn't too many issues with the mobility and movement. On the other hand, when we look at Beast, he has face makeup, he has facial prosthetics as well. Whether his cheek line, his jawline, his fangs, the fur, everything, his hair along his head. But then he's also in a muscle suit as well that's furred from head to toe, as well as feet furred head to toe with prosthetic claws for his toes, prosthetic claws for his hands, gloves, for the pads of his hands. So I I I get why in Days of Future Past when we see Nicholas Holt portray him, we see it more CGI than prosthetic. I get it because I was like that's a lot. That's a lot. That was definitely a lot. I will say this: I always felt like Nicholas Holt. I felt like his beast was a little bit cross-eyed, only because like I not not necessarily cross-eyed, but I felt like his eyes looked a little bit weird because they're going with the kind of the feline face, and his face is narrow, way more. His head he's like way slimmer and smaller than Kelsey Grammer. So like his face was very narrow, so I feel like his eyes were a little bit too close together. I'm not trying to roast my guy. Not trying to roast my guy, but I always felt like his eyes were a little bit too far together, because he had the feline nose that protrudes a little bit. So it pulls his eyes in a little bit. I was just like I was because I was watching clips and I'm just like, damn, is he cross-eyed or just his eyes or just his narrow ass face? But I feel like they both portrayed the character like immaculately. What's one of your favorite storylines involving Beast?
Oh, oh. So there is a version of Beast that actually winds up working for Apocalypse.
Is that the is that after what's it called? I'm thinking of Xavier's kind of Oasis. The what was it the Krokorian age? And is that 2020's X-Men storyline with Beast?
No, it was still the '90s actually.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So
Mm.
in an alternate reality, there is a version of Beast which is known as the Dark Beast, and they also use this in. Did you ever play the X-Men Legend games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, in this version, he was working for Sinister, and he was manipulating the mutant DNA. And he came up with the idea to combine certain DNAs within Apocalypse to basically make him almost not omnipotent, but more unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I believe the one that they adopted for the game, where Apocalypse takes the powers of it was Polaris, Quicksilver, Sabretooth, and I'm forgetting somebody because there was a fourth person. It was Polaris, Quicksilver, Sabretooth. Who was the fourth person? This is gonna bother the shit out of me now. Oh, Emma Frost.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Damn. That's fucking ridiculous. Like those first together, Quicksilver with Sabretooth and Polaris, that's already a recipe for disaster. But then also giving the abilities to Emma Frost, who her telepathic abilities are on par with Charles. And we're talking about Charles without Cerebro, because I know eventually later on he ends up getting like a mobile Cerebro. It's like a helmet he wears all the time with the big, with the big X on it. It's like a mobile Cerebro. So with you know her abilities are like on par with Charles without Cerebro, and then her ability to harden her skin into diamonds, pretty much making her what was it invulnerable to psychic telepathic attacks, and also it hardens her skin and strengthens her as well. That's all those together is a fucking problem. Then with Sabretooth's heightened strength, agility, pretty much everything Wolverine has besides adamantium claws. And the claws in general. I mean, he all right, clear this up for me. Does he just have really sharp claws on his nails, or is he actually able to grow his nails into claws?
Sabretooth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, there it's basically the equivalent of a tiger's claws.
Okay, so that's just his nails. He doesn't, because I know they had in I know we don't talk about Bruno, but in Origins they actually had him able to grow his claws sharper, like longer. Because him and Wolverine were supposed to be brothers, so it makes sense that they have similar abilities. So he was actually able to like, kind of just to grow his claws further, like Wolverine is able to grow his bone claws.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that was always interesting. If like his actual iteration, because we know Origins took a lot of creative liberties, a lot of creative liberties.
I mean, once again, I'm not against that. It's all right when it's done if it's done correctly. For example, like the whole Evan Daniels character in X-Men Evolution, him being Storm's nephew and him being able to manipulate his bones. Now, once again, that's not the character from the X-Men. Now, I originally remember being able to do that, but they made it work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if we're going as far as Ryan Reynolds' original take of Deadpool.
We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah. They just yeah. This when you do it right, you do it right. You don't. Um, yeah. There's this yes yeah. I'm sorry. Every time I talk about the movie, I get stuck just because I'm stuck on just the sheer failure that it was. So much potential, and it just fell flat on its face. Like originally, I gave it the benefit of the doubt because a lot of people saw it without it didn't see, a lot of people saw it first in the unfinished version when that leaked. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. This unfinished version, it's just shitty like that. But no, the unfinished version is pretty much exactly what you're gonna get, what you get with the finished version. The unfinished version just didn't have all the CGI and shit in it yet. there's actually certain parts of the unfinished version where it's just storyboard drawing. Like it was like where certain parts weren't even like filmed yet, type shit.
Mm.
Now I back to Dark Beast. Now that wasn't just a one-off kind of thing. No, there's like various storylines that hint at Beast's capacity to become an actual legit supervillain. And like you said, his alternate universe counterpart, Dark Beast, like he was a reoccurring character throughout the 2000s and 2010 comic books. And then there's like the Kryptonian Age storyline, the 2020 X-Men storyline. Beast actually becomes an antagonist against the X-Men, becoming an outright villain.
Mm.
So he actually, so there is like a storyline when he does become an outright villain. It's what is it, the Dawn of X storyline? Yep. It was the Dawn of X storyline by Jonathan Hickman.
Okay.
Where it's like a little mini series. It's 2 issues. It's 6 issues that go through House of X and Powers of X. So we got let's see, so it was like in 2019 they relaunched the X-Men line, published by Marvel Comics. And then within the wake of the minis, the twin mini series House of X and Powers of X, they this pretty much culminated to a giant crossover event called X of Swords. For those you don't know, definitely check out those House of X, Powers of X, and X of Swords. And X of Swords pretty much is followed by the sequel relaunch named Reign of X in December of 2022. The story focuses on various groups of mutants living in a small island named Krakoa, which is what I was mentioning before. I mentioned it in the Juggernaut episode as well. This is where we see Charles Xavier with the full mobile cerebral helmet with the big X on it. So yeah, there's been quite a few times where we see him, go full villain.
It's
And
always the quiet one.
right, it's always the quiet ones, but it does make sense because he is so quiet, because he's so quiet and so smart that it's quiet, smart, strong. So imagine what happens if that someone with this immense intelligence, immense strength and agility decides fuck him. So I feel like it's a perfect kind of like storyline and story arc for him to see him go dark.
Mm.
Let's take a quick break. Let's hear from a few podcasters that are doing amazing things in the Blurred Nation, such as Midnight Comics with their podcast Indie Versus. You can find them on Spotify for the Midnight Run, underneath Midnight Run. Lady Mandalore with her Room Full of Birds, as well as Icarus Comics. Let's hear from them.
Going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchups. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Room Full of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, Come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right, and again, please definitely go check these guys out. They're doing really, 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 really big things. Moving forward in the Blurred Nation aspect of things. If you don't know what a blurred is me. A blurred is triage. Black nerds is what a blurred is. And we're growing in popularity. Our numbers are absolutely enormous. For if you don't believe me, look at the attendance of the last Blurred Con, which was DreamCon in Waco, Texas. What is it, like almost 20,000 people showed out? Yeah. We out here. Black nerds, we taking over. We taking over. So now when it comes to me with Beast, I didn't I don't know. I didn't get to read too much about him. I did read like his origin. Again, like you said earlier, with his father being exposed to radiation and then him coming out with the abilities. Now there was one thing that did stand out to me. And again, it goes into Beast genius level intellect. So Hank possesses a brilliant intellect, as we've continued to discover. He is a world-renowned biochemist, having earned PhDs in biophysics and genetics. He is the man who cured the legacy virus. And now, for those who don't know, the legacy virus is a fictional plague appearing in American comic books featuring the X-Men, published by Marvel Comics. It first appears in a kind of like one-off storyline in Marvel Comics Comics title from like 1993 to 2001, during which it swept through the mutant population throughout the Marvel universe, and it just wiped out so many different mutants. So that's one of his accolades. And then along with that, he frequently. Sorry, I can't talk. Terramana's kicking in. Shout out to the Wind Rock Johnson and Terramana. Please sponsor us. He frequently functions as both field medic and in-house physician for the X-Men, despite not technically having a medical degree. His intelligence and his expertise in genetics rivals that of Professor X, Mac Target, and Kavita. What was it? Kavita Row, I think it is. Rao. Kavita Rao. That's what it is. But despite this, he has never received a Nobel Prize or been elected to the United States National Academy of Science. As a Renaissance man, McCoy is very versed in many fields, including linguistics. He's fluent in multiple different languages like English, German, French, Latin, Spanish, Japanese, Arabic, and Russian, as well as some fictional languages like Latvian, literature, philosophy, psychology, sociology, history, art history, anthropology, music, political science, economics. This guy is he's literally this motherfucker is smarter than Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk's his intelligence can be questioned. But he has like a special affinity for science and technology. And he, like I said before, he quotes Shakespeare plays all the time. His vast scientific knowledge ranges from theoretical physics, quantum mechanics, differential equations, nanotechnology, autonomy. I'm sorry, anatomy, biomedicine, analytical chemistry, electrical engineering, electrical and mechanical engineering. Because if my memory serves, he's the one that built the X Jet.
Correct.
He built it. Thus, as we saw in Days of Future Past, they're looking at him like, "Can you fly it?" He's like, "I'm the one that built it." Oh, like, come on! Don't question my man's intelligence. My nigga built that shit. Of course he can fly it. How you gonna build something he can't fly?
I mean,
Yeah,
being an
so
engineer and being a pilot are not the same thing.
that's true. But he's able to make repairs on Cerebro. He regularly makes upgrades to the danger room settings. Like, he's made several Deus Ex Machina devices on par with Reed Richards. For those of you who don't know, a Deus Ex Machina is pretty much like last minute, last ditch ever, something that kind of comes out of nowhere. That's not necessarily a part of the storyline, but it's made a part of the storyline to kind of fix the problem at hand. Including like devices that strip entities of cosmic powers and shit. While not a medical doctor, he was able to perform brain surgery on the Red Skull to extract fragment of Charles Xavier's brain from the skull, not the skull, but from the Red Skull, and grafted it back onto Xavier, and removing the skull's telepathic abilities, while leaving the villain otherwise pretty much healthy, completely healthy. Like, this man has been time displaced before. Like, there was one story, like, so after, like, he ends up meeting Doctor Strange, right? The displaced, he's like young. It's this younger beast. The displaced younger beast kind of like as has mastered a combination of science and magic, allowing him to return himself and his four teammates to the past for a few minutes. Although he notes that it took a great deal of effort to kind of send them back in time for that long, but it just confirms that history has been reset so that the displaced X-Men are no longer needed in the past. So, like, he's actually changed time before.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And then he's also mastered mystical portals as well, and he was able to send Juggernaut to Siberia after he passed through hell.
That is impressive.
Yeah, this man Beast is it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Like, the list goes on, bro. The list goes on. And and again, that it bothers me that I feel like Beast doesn't get the recognition that he deserves.
Now you know how I feel with Angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he is. I feel like, I'll put it this way. I feel like the X-Men wouldn't be able to operate functionally without him. Like, yeah, they got Charles, but I always felt like Beast was kind of like the voice of reason, because even though Charles is incredibly smart, highly intelligent, telepath and shit like that, he doesn't normally think with his heart, thinks with his brain. I feel like Beast is that heart.
He's the moral compass. He's the Donatello.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, 100%. I 100% agree. He's the moral compass. So, like, all right, yeah, we could do that, but you got to think about the ramifications if we do that. You got to think about the big picture. Yeah, we fix the problem now, but it's only going to cause more problems later on. He's always that moral compass. So maybe we should do it this way, take their feelings into consideration first. So I feel like they wouldn't be able to function properly without Beast, let alone fucking who the hell's gonna maintain the X Jet. And that's another goddamn thing. Where do they get the fuel for this shit?
Listen, Charles Xavier has walked into a few multi-million dollar banks before and been like, "I want you to wire this money into this account."
I see it. I can definitely see it. I can
Oh,
definitely
excuse
see
me. Excuse me. Charles hasn't walked into said banks, but he's gone.
it. Charles hasn't walked anywhere for a long time.
Oh my God. But
Oh,
it's also one of those things like where Xavier was, he did come for money. So it's one of the
yeah.
things where he might have had an alternative revenue stream or several alternative revenue streams to keep everything funded. And as Bobby Drake said in X-Men, his parents thought they were sending him to a school for the gifted, for a school for uniquely talented students. So they thought they were paying for private school.
Mm. But in all actuality, they're paying for the son to dress up in spandex and go fight crime.
Hey, listen, man, that's it's all fun and games. So that nigga freezes all of North America.
Hey man, shit. One wrong move, he puts on his suit wrong, pinches one of his nuts. Ice Age. There ain't no way them suits is not squeaky as shit.
I mean, I imagine there's some taping.
Like, man, yo, I couldn't take them seriously. I'm standing there committing a crime, whatever, I got mutant powers, I'm blowing shit up, and from behind me, all I hear is, stop right there, Power Maximus. Huh? What the fuck? Every time they move, hiya! I have to laugh my ass off and just drop the bags of money. Here, you can take it. Y'all making me laugh too much. I can't take y'all seriously. Fuck out of here. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Like you got
Mm.
your matching uniforms.
What is this, a dance recital? Oh man. Now in the movies, Beast actually he's the one that created the uniforms.
I mean,
Now,
which would
to,
make
to your
sense. I
not
mean,
yeah, to your knowledge, is this something that lines up with the comics as well?
as far as I know, it's never been explicitly said, but it's one of those things like where if you were reading the material, you might not really have looked at it that way.
Mm. I see. Excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry.
I mean, if you look at those original blue and yellow uniforms, I highly doubt them shits were bulletproof. But
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's actually a moment where, like, when he opens in first class, when he opens up the container that has the suits in, who is it? Havoc.
was like, do we really need to wear these?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, "Do we really got to wear these?" So, like, it kind of, yeah, he's super intelligent. Yeah, be super intelligent, but his sense of style, just it's not, it ain't there. Yeah, his sense of style just ain't hitting. Um, because I honestly, I personally didn't even like the suits from the original three X-Men movies.
The black, you didn't?
No, 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 I personally felt like they were a little too bulky.
Well, this is the thing too, and this is one of the things that they talked about because it's like even he makes the joke. You guys really go outside these things? Or what were you expecting? Yellow spandex?
Yeah, I did like that. Yeah, I did catch that. That made me chuckle a little bit back then. It still makes me chuckle to this day. Um, like it. Okay. I say this. So I felt they were too bulky. Um, Definitely way too bulky. Except for Storms, and Jeans, they weren't bulky at all. They were not bulky at all. They were perfect. Now, I would have liked to see a little more comic book accurate, but I guess for the times, early 2000s, for the times, I guess it just would have looked too goofy. So I get it, but I need to see next iteration. I need to see animated series and later comic book accurate suits, man. I need to see
So
Cyclops with the. Go ahead.
hold on. So you really want a blue furry beast running around in just the little blue trunks? That's what you want?
They can give him a vest like they did in
Nah.
Last Stand.
You said comic book accurate, so you want to see that big ass lion slash gorilla.
That's how he was. In the Marvels in the cutscene, that's how he was. All he had was his shorts on and his lab coat.
Oh, okay. And just like in Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan, for whatever reason, never seemed to have pants on, yet his schmeat was out for the entire movie. But hey, that's comic accurate. So we're just gonna...
Oh god. It's all just child appropriate. Now I am interested to see who they're gonna have play Storm in the coming X-Men. I got it. I need to see the white hair, and I need to see the white and gold uniform with the wings. I gotta see it. I don't know. I just feel like now they'll be able. I feel like they'll be able to do their suits, make them animated series and comic book accurate, while also modernizing them a little bit too, to make them look cool. Because look what they've done with everyone else's suits in the MCU. Everyone else's suits are pretty much comic book accurate with just a little bit of modern flair. So like they're maybe a little more padded. They maybe look a little more armored. Kind of look like Ant-Man. Ant-Man's original suit is just like a bodysuit, a red and black bodysuit. But if you look at him in the MCU, yes, it's still kind of a red and black bodysuit, but it's a little more padded. It's sectioned out to kind of like accentuate the muscle features or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like now they can probably do the suits and it won't look so goofy. Or at least cheesy. I'm not gonna say goofy, I say cheesy.
They are giving Hugh Jackman the yellow suit in the next Deadpool. So I mean,
and I love the way they did it. It color wise is accurate. Like the way it's all set up is accurate. It's just padded and it looks more like an actual suit than him just wearing spandex. Because I don't know about you, but Hugh Jackman stay missing leg day. You stay missing leg day. But no, I mean, I guess Wolverine in the comic books was like really top heavy. He was more brolic on top than he was in his legs.
Well, you also
his
gotta
legs still
remember
had muscle definition. Yeah, he was also like fucking 5 foot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a difference when you got someone who's literally almost 1.5 feet taller than the actual character playing the character.
Yeah. Because I remember at first they were gonna have him like kind of like hunched down or whatever. Originally, I remember him saying they wanted him to hunch down, but they're like, "Yeah, no, that don't look right. Fuck it, we're just gonna have a tall Wolverine." And I noticed they definitely had to have Colossus standing on a fucking soapbox, because I was watching clips from X2, the suit up scene right before the final battle, and Colossus standing in the back, and I'm like, ain't no way that nigga's legs is that long. Ain't no way his legs is that long, because like his torso is like damn near middle of the screen. Not his torso, like his waist is like middle of the screen. His head's completely out of screen. So in that, they definitely had him in like in a fucking like standing on top of a soapbox. There ain't no way that nigga's calf muscles is that his calf bones are that long. Now I will say with Beast and the way Kelsey Grammer portrayed Beast in Last Stand, again, I already said it was perfect, but just as he would go from he portrayed an older Beast, someone that's already been through the ringer with the X-Men. He's left the X-Men. He's on to his political endeavors now. He's actually a part of the yes, he's still a mutant activist, but he's actually the Secretary of Mutant Affairs in Last Stand. What was that?
No.
All right. Okay. But yeah, so he plays an older beast that hasn't really been in a fight for a while. So when we first see him fight, you see him like, yeah, I missed this shit. Yeah, let's go. Who wants more? Rah, let's go. It's been too long. Even when we first see him put the vest on, he's like, damn, I can't believe I ever fit in this shit. Pretty much, it was kind of tight. Because he had the pants on, he had like the leather pants on with the leather jacket, and even that was like brown and yellow, as opposed to everyone else's suit that were black with the trend being like Shadowcat's. Hers was pink. Bobby Drake's was blue. Storm's was white. Wolverine's was like yellow or orange. But he still had like his suit looked older. It really looked like an older version of the suits.
right? Like he might have been one of the original X-Men, but he hasn't been around in so long. There's no reason for him to have a modern suit.
Exactly. Exactly. So he just went to his closet, his old room, and grabbed his old suit. hmm Now, for the next half of this, we're gonna be diving in, like I said earlier, to the Raging Cajun himself, Gambit. Triage, I'll let you take it away with Gambit.
Oh, copy. So down in the bottom of the map, at a little place, as we call New Orleans,
New Orleans. New Orleans.
there is said to be a large criminal element that controls most of the activities in the area.
Yup,
The,
yup.
the two most predominant groups are known as the Assassins Guild and the Thieves Guild.
hmm
Now, these two groups have been at war for decades since the founding of the quarter. Now, Remy LeBeau, who is better known as Gambit, is the son of John Luc LeBeau, who was the king of thieves, who was the head of the Thieves Guild. So Gambit is in essence the Prince of Thieves.
Okay, so he's like a New Orleans version of Aladdin. Copy.
Yeah, that's the excellent way to look at it. Yes.
Copy. Copy. I mean,
So,
it makes sense. The way he'd be talking to Rogue, he'd be like, he'd be talking to her like, I'm gonna show you a whole new world, shorty.
oh my god,
'Cause,
oh
man, he got a thing for that Rogue. I mean, it's Rogue. She got that thing on her, so she wear them gloves for a reason. She wear them gloves to hide her powers.
yeah,
It's not the. I love. Wow. If you look at it at a very immature level, her powers essentially pretty much suck the life out of somebody with her hands.
oh my lord, where is this going? Where is this going?
I'm just stating facts about her powers and abilities.
That just escalated really quickly, very fast.
It's what I do. It's what I do. Um, yeah, Remy LeBeau, Prince of Thieves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Terramata's kicking in again. Like I was just saying. Um, y'all all know the second half is where shit gets crazy.
Yes. So, uh, as a young man, not even as a young man, as a kid, Remy wound up coming across this girl who was being attacked, and him being the selfless hero that he is, he sprung into action, only to watch this girl kill the men who were trying to abduct her.
Oh shit.
Yes. So only then did Remy realize who she was, and this was Belladonna. Belladonna
Oh.
is the heir to the Assassins Guild, and it was love at first sight.
Honestly, yeah, a woman that can handle herself in a dark alleyway. Ooh, yeah, that's solid right there.
So this having their relationship be what it was This led to a very uneasy truce between the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild, and it almost culminated in a peace when Remy was going to marry Belladonna in order to put an end to the bloodshed between the two guilds.
Okay, Prince and Princess.
Unfortunately, Belladonna's brother took issue to this. Like, it wasn't literally, they literally hadn't even said "I do," had the rings on each other's fingers for 10 minutes before this nigga tried to puff out his chest and get swole with Gambit.
And as we all know, Gambit don't like that. You don't play with Gambit like that. He'll put you in your place real fucking quick.
So that, as they say, the dealer always wins. So
nice.
In the middle of a not so much a duel, but in an exchangement between words. The kid's name is escaping me, but Belladonna's brother's name. But he pulls a knife on Remy. Remy takes it and charges it, and it explodes. And in the process of it exploding, it kills him.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So this could have easily led to a full-on war between the thieves and the assassins, but instead they made a compromise, and Remy was exiled from New Orleans. He could never go back.
Damn. Wow. Well, that's fucked. Damn, that's fucked.
Julian, that was his name. Mm-hmm. Yes. He accidentally killed Julian in the duel, and he wound up being banished from New Orleans. So Remy decided to take on the persona of Gambit and became an international thief and literally sold his skills to the highest builder. Excuse me, the highest bidder, not builder.
You sipping on some Terramana too over there?
I'm drinking some Captain, got some rum.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Mm-hmm. Cheers, nigga.
Cheers, nigga. So he's pretty much selling himself to the highest bidder.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean it like that.
Well, hold on. As a little side note, we're gonna go over Remy's powers real quick. So most people have it as that Gambit can charge things with an explosive energy. What Gambit really does is Gambit has the ability to manipulate kinetic energy stored inside of objects.
So he's able to convert their potential energy that's stored within an inanimate object and turn it into pure light kinetic energy.
Yes. And then the object explodes based off the size and density with the force. Excuse me, the object's force of explosion depends on its size and density.
So if he had a giant steel ball above New York, let's say hanging in the stratosphere, charges it and then lets it drop, it's gonna go off like a nuke.
Exactly. But the ball would have to be charged with massive amounts of kinetic energy for it to work. So that's one of the reasons why Gambit uses playing cards, because when he was dating Belladonna taught him how to throw knives.
So as he throws them, the kinetic energy builds until it hits its mark.
When he shuffles them.
Oh. Okay, so it's like a shuffle of death. Damn. So when he shuffles the cards, he's charging them.
Exactly. Which is one of the reasons why whenever you see Gambit doing like his flurry or like his flurious shows when he's doing the tricks with the cards, all he's doing is building up the energy inside him to release them when he throws them. And it's basically explained that a playing card goes off with the force of a grenade.
When he charges them?
Correct.
Oh.
Like Rogue basically asked him one time, like, yo, what's up with you in playing cards? His response was, think of it as having 52 grenades tucked in one pocket.
Man, this man Gambit was it was smooth as fuck with the wordplay, bro.
Uh-huh.
Mm, mm-mm. Gambit was always one of my favorite characters. One because always loved the New Orleans culture, and then just I really feel like he embodies it. He embodies the New Orleans culture, the the from the wordplay to the savvy to just playing it cool to slipping in them French words and the Cajun words as he's speaking. Damn nigga, I wanted to be Gambit when I was younger, but I'm a black man, so it don't work that way. I'm a black man from New York. It don't work that way.
Hey man, there are plenty of black people in the quarter. There ain't no reason why if they were to tweak it.
Hey, like I said, I'm a black man from New York, so I don't be sitting there like, yeah, shorty, it's like having 52 grenades stuffed in my own pocket. You know what I mean? It should dead ass go off. Like I'm sitting there fucking charging my Timberlands. uh, nigga, I'll get into a fight. All right, so what up then? What up then, Magneto? What's good then? Popping all that good shit, bending metal and shit, nigga. What's good then? Pop off then, nigga. Do something, do something. That would be me. That would be me if I was a Gambit. We finna play a game, nigga. You wanna play games, nigga? I got a game for you. 52 pickup.
There is a move that Gambit does do, which is usually popularized in the games where he does throw all 52 cards in one deck after charging them, and he does call
Yeah.
52 pickup.
Yup, he throws them up in the air and they rain down like fucking grenades. I remember because he has that ability in X-Men Alliance.
Yes, he also uses it in the X-Men Legend games, but he can also take them, charge them back and forth, and then throw them like off the top of the deck, going all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was basically like the equivalent of like a machine that would throw baseballs.
Yeah, he does that in X-Men Origins. When when Logan goes to him to ask him about the X project, they have him bring him back to the island that the Weapon Plus program is on.
So we don't talk about Bruno, no.
We don't talk
about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno, but that's the only live action iteration of Gambit that we see. I will say, so check this out. I will say, and I'm probably gonna get some fire for this. Channing Tatum will make a great Gambit. He would make a grand Gambit. He wants to play Gambit. He wants to play Gambit. He would make a great Gambit because his family is from New Orleans.
Yeah, they were trying to make that movie like 8 years ago, and it just never got off the ground.
Yeah. They wanted to, but again, I feel like standalone Gambit movie probably wouldn't hit. I don't think it would hit. I feel like it would have to be a Gambit movie without portraying itself as a Gambit movie.
Well,
For it to really sell, they'd have to name it something else, and then you just kind of figure out, oh shit, this nigga's Gambit while you're watching the movie.
I don't know, because I think it's one of those things like where they have to do it they could do it very Avengers, where they don't necessarily need to name the X-Men you're seeing or telling you what X-Men are in the series, but you see the origins of these characters, because like you see Gambit square off, have a falling out with his wife, because technically he was married. You see him get banished, and then this leads over to him working for Mr. Sinister. This is something we talked about with the Archangel episode.
Let's get into that. So let's get into that a little bit. So let's run. Do you got more before we get there?
Oh, no. So the one thing that was going on with Gambit was it got revealed that as time went by and Gambit was traveling the world, he slowly began to lose control of his power. So it literally got to the point where he was afraid of charging the wrong object or charging an object he didn't mean to charge. So, because in theory, what has the most kinetic energy?
Humans?
The planet.
Oh shit. Yeah, true. It's in a constant state of motion. And it's been in a constant state of motion for billions of years.
Not to mention all the things that move on the planet. Not to mention all the things that are built into the planet. So there's nothing that has to absorb more.
Well, we say he has omega level potential.
Yes, because in essence, if he can charge kinetic energy stored in objects, and his power was growing, why can't he just touch the plane and cause the plane to explode?
Damn, I never thought about it that way. You know, I knew he was one of my favorite characters for a reason. I know there's a reason he was one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the period of time when it starts to happen is when he goes over and speaks to Nathaniel Essex, who is also known as Mr. Sinister.
Also, the founder of the Essex Foundation.
Correct.
Which it gets name dropped in New Mutants.
And Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah, and Deadpool 2.
Now, the one thing that I always thought that was interesting is that when Charles Xavier once said to Gambit, how often does the scoundrel have to prove himself a hero before he believes it himself? Gambit was raised a certain kind of way to be a certain kind of person, and he's always tried to fight against that and do what he felt was right and do what he felt was best. Now, I think this is the key moment where he realized he needed to be always mindful who it was he was working with and for. Because when Gambit goes to Sinister, Sinister performs a surgery on him. He removes part of his brainstem, and he actually lets Gambit keep it. And this is the part that I always thought was interesting. He let Gambit keep the part of his brainstem that he took out, and it basically kept his powers within a manageable level. But in return, Gambit had to, what's the word I'm looking for? He had to assemble, no pun intended, a certain group of mutants that would later be known as the Marauders, and how the Marauders got sent into the sewers with the mission to hunt down and kill the Morlocks.
And for those you don't know, you can definitely go back, go to our YouTube playlist for this podcast, which this episode will be up there immediately after the show. Check into our podcast, go all the way down to the bottom. It's one of our first episodes, one of our first few episodes, Archangel. We do a complete breakdown of Archangel, and we mentioned this part of the storyline within that. We actually talked quite in depth about it. So if you're interested in Archangel and Angel, and also you like the story that we're about to get into right now, by all means, please check out that episode. It's awesome. It was really good. It was a great episode. Sorry, I just had to do a quick little plug there.
No, you're fine.
Now, the Marauders, they get sent into the sewers to do what exactly? Inform the people of what they go to do.
So here's how once again, this is one of the things, like one of my biggest things is story and continuity. As everyone knows, I'm always going on about that. I love a good story, and I love continuity, and I love the way things tie together and the way things work. Now, when the Morlocks were mutants whose physical mutations had mutated their bodies to the point where they could not pass, and y'all know I love to say that word pass as human. Now, when the Marauders came into the sewers, I'm not even sure what Gambit thought was going to occur or happen, but the Marauders proceed to butcher and slaughter the Morlocks.
Yep.
Now, I always thought this went back to Mr. Sinister because Sinister was always trying to harvest DNA, usually by force, from the strongest mutants on the planet, and in hopes to create a super mutant.
Mm.
Now, when this happened, Gambit, who was in total awe of all this violence, went to leave, but right before he left, this young woman told Gambit to take her daughter. She said, "Please take her to safety. Please take her to safety. Please get my Sarah out of here." So Gambit took this small girl and was like, "All right." I'll do my best to get her out of here and I'll get her to safety. And he wound up leaving with this girl. Now, this girl that Gambit saves is the girl who eventually becomes Marrow.
Oh, okay.
What? Because like you see it with the bone protrusions and the pink hair. So it's like now, fast forward years later, Marrow winds up becoming the leader of the new incarnation of the Morlocks.
Yes.
She's
Um.
usually she's usually
Originally,
depicted as
it was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Originally, it was Bishop's father
it
was the
was
leader of the Morlocks.
Erg.
Yep, Erg.
The team has rotated leadership from him to Callisto to Meryl herself. It all just depends on what version of the story you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you watch the X-Men cartoon from the 90s and X-Men Evolution, it's Callisto.
Oh, yep.
Callisto, it might be, depends on how you say it. So
Mm-hmm.
Marrow, years later, becomes the leader of the Morlocks because Gambit, because of this incident, is the only person who has ever gone into the sword that the Morlocks did not kill on sight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because if you play the X-Men Legends game, the second or third mission you go on, you have to go into the swords and you have to save Gambit, who has been captured by the Morlocks. And sure enough, the boss at the end of the level is Marrow. And Marrow doesn't explain why she didn't kill him, why she just stuck him in a cell. But it was hinted that she owed him a debt. And then this explains that causality.
Oh,
Even if
okay.
even if Gambit didn't remember saving her, she remembered him.
Damn, wow. Yeah, that had to be many. That's had to be like at least a decade or 2 decades later.
Right.
So the one thing that always kills me about these comic book is like the aging process. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you really look at it, like not many of these characters actually age, even though like something had happened like a decade, 2 decades ago. Yet in this situation, I'd say so. Like Meryl, she's grown, but Remy, I'm pretty sure he looked the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it could be contributed to the X gene. Those who have an X gene age slower than normal. Pretty much, Homo superior ages slower than Homo sapien. That's the way I'm kind of like starting to look at it now. That the aging process is very different. Depending on Homo sapien to Homo superior. That's the only thing that would make sense. Because again, I know it's ridiculous to kind of try to give real world logic to a fictional world, but that's the only way that that I would be able to really kind of explain it and or kind of like wrap my brain around it. Because we got characters like Charles Xavier. You know what I mean? Like he's a character that was like made all the way back in uh fucking like 1963, yet we're still seeing him in the wheelchair, seeing the same characters and fucking 2000, in the 2000s, that 2010s, and in the 20s, and they still look the same for the most part.
Mm.
So that's the only way I'd be able to kind of wrap my brain around the aging process here, because the shit don't be making sense sometimes.
Well, it might also be one of those things where mutants age slower than humans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Homo superior ages slower than Homo sapien. That's the only way I can wrap my brain around it.
Or it also could be time and context of who's writing the story and when.
Yeah, Also depending on the universe as well. 'Cause a lot of these storylines don't take place in the main 616. Some take place in Earth 1119, fucking some even on Earth X and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different different universes out there that these storylines can be taking place on, and it's not all. Sometimes it is, but not always like told to you what universe this story a certain storyline is taking place in. Like there's a storyline where that involves Bishop and Gambit. Pretty much is like Bishop's future. So pretty much like in the future timeline, that's Bishop's home, and which is Earth 1191. The X-Men were wiped out in like 1996 by someone who's recorded only as the X-Traitor. However, there was apparently one survivor of the attack who ended up being called the Witness. He had like a Cajun accent, long hair, and him and Bishop had an antagonistic relationship at that time during Bishop's future. And then when Bishop ends up coming to the past, he ends up recognizing Gambit's face as the Witness. And then later, the Witness was revealed to have been living happily in New Orleans, unchanged from how Bishop knows him 80 years in the future. So pretty much he met the young Remy LeBeau. I was about to say Rebeau. The young Remy LeBeau, and pretty much he had a set of countless trophies from battles across time. So pretty much like Captain America's Shattered Shield, the Red Power Suit from the Greatest American Hero, and he also had Hellboy's right hand of Doom. That's pretty fucking that's pretty fucking sick. Hellboy, he had Hellboy's hand. That's fucking crazy. So the Witness claims to be a temporal, because there's pan-dimensional, but pan-temporal. Pretty much he's capable of seeing all things in all realities at all times. And then there's the fact that he was even capable of conversing with Bishop or anyone else in a linear fashion. Is apparently due to pretty much his sense of humor or whatever. He's able to. He's omnipotent. Pantemporal pretty much means he exists in all times at the same time. Same way Dr. Manhattan. He is in all he's within time.
Mm.
So he's connected to every single moment in time at the same time. So he can talk to someone in the future and be talking to someone in the past while he's here in the present. Which pretty much gives an ability to see the future. Which, like, for someone who didn't really know what was going on, you could be like, oh, he's a fortune teller. He can see the future. That's his ability. He's able to see the future. No. He's not seeing the future. He's in the future. He's actively moving and living in the future, the past, and the present at the same time. So I always found that interesting about Gambit's character, and like he's within the recent years, they really haven't used his character too much. Even in the House of M storyline, he really wasn't seen much in the House of M storyline. He was like once in the House of M, and then there's like, let's see, what is it? There's X-Men Curse of the Mutants, Storm and Gambit. There's Rogue and Gambit storyline. There's their Mr. and Mrs. X storyline. Age of Apocalypse,
Hold on,
Exiles.
hold on. So
Oh,
with the Storm story, so Gambit basically had this whole thing where he got introduced to the X-Men because he saved Storm. Storm had been turned back into a teenager, and he wound up saving her, and this is how she sponsored him to join the X-Men. It was during this time that he first meets and falls for Rogue, and then shortly after this, he winds up actually working for Apocalypse.
oh, okay. All right, all right. Now the storyline with Storm doesn't it takes place like on some shit called like Vampire Island?
That I don't know. I just remember that someone was chasing her and Gambit saved her.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. Vaguely, very vaguely remember it. It was kind of like a one off back in 2010. But it was like Storm and Gambit #1, and like pretty much the issue sees Storm and Gambit, um, and they had a history of working together, and they were teaming up to steal Dracula's body from the heart of Vampire Island. Um, which to me it makes perfect sense to team up that pair of them, and also and strangely as well, 'cause this could have made for like a reasonably satisfying issue of the main of like from like a main series, if if only the editorial were willing to break out and into some shit like that. um but yeah, that's like I vaguely remember that storyline. It was literally like a one off by James Hunt.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was one of those one offs, but it did really well though. Because I remember looking it up, it did really well. It was like the 55th best selling comic back in August of 2010 or some shit like that. By Comic Book Resources. Um, but yeah, this has been like kind of a lot of like one-off storylines when it comes to him. Like I said, Storm and Gambit, Rogue and Gambit, Mr. and Mrs. X. He's had runs in the Age of Apocalypse, the Exile storyline, the New Exiles 1 through 4. Like I said, he was very briefly in the House of M, where he ends up getting caught. Um, for being a thief by Carol Danvers, also known as Captain Marvel, who's
Boo.
who was actually in Marvel Zombies too. So it was like a zombie version of Gambit was seen one of pretty much. So a zombie Gambit is seen as one of the dozens of superpowered zombies attacking Doctor Doom's castle, trying to reach the uninfected humans inside. This is after being seen on Shield's helicarrier, between Colossus and Magneto. So pretty much it takes place during like the Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness storyline. So it was like Marvel Zombies, I believe, like #3. Yeah. So yeah, Gambit is one of the many zombies trying to slay and eat Quicksilver. But then we end up seeing him again within that same storyline. Pretty much he's like his chest is blasted through. Uh, um, then like his head and his jaw is like knocked off,
Are
and
are you sure that's not Chamber you're talking about?
Chamber and the
Yeah,
Marvel Zombies.
there's a character, there's an X-Men named Chamber who was a mutant, and I forget what his power is, but like it blew a hole through his chest, and knocked off part of his jaw and his throat.
Maybe I might be, but I know so maybe that part is Chamber. But I vividly remember Gambit being in that storyline, being one of the infected mutants, being like a zombie. That's the only thing that I remember. Then he was also in Mutant X, the Mutant X storyline. So pretty much in the Mutant X universe, Gambit was in a fatal accident when he was attempting to save his foster daughter. Yeah, it gets interesting. Yeah, so he was accompanied by Bloodstorm. Oh shit, I gotta change my character's name then. There's already a character named Bloodstorm, but I mean, I guess there's multiple characters with the same name. But nah, that kind of bothers me. So I'm calling Bloodstrom instead of Bloodstorm. Um, so he was accompanied by Bloodstorm at the time, and he begged her to turn him into a vampire so that he didn't have to die. She reluctantly accepted his request, and became Gambit's sire. He was actually very unhappy with the creature he had become, blaming Bloodstorm for what she had done to him, and he ended up like running away from her. So since his eyes were like naturally red, no one in Thieves Guild noticed. Like, 'cause, for all you don't know, Gambit has like his eyes are black and red. So the white of his eyes is black, and then what would be his iris, the color of his eyes, is red. So he's black and red eyes all the way through. So no one in the Thieves Guild realized that he was a vampire. Um, which ended up pretty much making it easier for him to feed on people. Um, but for a time, Gambit worked to prevent Bloodstorm from feeding on sentient beings. So she ended up only having to feed on like animals and shit. Um, such as the thieving marauders and other otherwise incident I'm sorry, it's really hard for me to start talking right now. Damn, it's really hard for me to talk right now. Terramon is really fucking kicking in right now. Sorry, I start pretty much. So for a time, Gambit worked to prevent Bloodstorm from feeding on sentient beings, such as the thieving marauders and other innocent vampire wannabes. Later, Gambit was forced to join Havoc's team, the Six. Now, for those who don't know, Havoc is a Summers. He's Havoc is Scott Summers' brother
Little brother.
or little brother. Yeah. So he received a partial cure to his vampirism from Brute, and not Groot, Brute.
Oh, Jesus.
With the serum he devised, it granted both Gambit and Bloodstrom a reprieve from their bloodlust and gave them the ability to walk in sunlight. So pretty much they became Blade for a while there. However, Gambit's appreciation did not run deep. So pretty much, yeah, he didn't like that. He didn't like it at all. When the team was in a crisis fighting, the combined might of fuck, who was it? It was Dracula, the Beyonder, and the Globlin Force. Gambit
Where
stole the. What happened?
where is Blade during all this?
That's my question. That was my question while I was reading this. While I was reading this line, where the fuck is Blade? So Gambit ended up stealing the team's jet and flew away with his adopted daughter Raven. I don't know if that's Mystique Raven or someone else. I never understood that. But he's never seen again after that. He was part of the New Sun storyline, which was a solo arc for Gambit. Ultimate Marvel, X-Men the End, what was it? The Age of X, X-Men Noir, X-Men Forever, Old Man Logan, fucking Zombie, and then when they did the second run for Marvel Zombies, he was in there too. So he's been everywhere. He's even had been a part of a bunch of miniseries. Like I said, the Gambit and Rogue was a miniseries. It was Gambit 1 through 4, Rogue 1 through 4, Uncanny X-Men number 265 through like 270. Fucking Wolverine and Gambit 1 through 4. He's teamed up with he had his own he was like a part of a Deadpool comic as well. Um, different the other parts of the Rogue and Gambit, because there's other parts. There's Rogue and Gambit. There's Rogue and Gambit Rings of Fire. Rogue and Gambit's Power Play. Then he also had his own shit while Thick as Thieves. So he's had quite a few runs in the comic books. I just wish that he would have like done a little bit more with him in general. So I don't know. I just feel like there's only thing they haven't touched on yet when it comes to Gambit is a true full-fledged live action. Again, like we said, there's we don't talk about Bruno, but there was X-Men Origins iteration of him, and then that's all we got. And even then, in X-Men Origins, we really didn't see much from him. We see that first scene with him where he's squaring off against Wolverine, blows Wolverine through the wall with the cards, and then we see him fighting with his staff. Oh, that's another thing we need to talk about. We need to talk about his bow staff.
Oh, we didn't. You're right.
Yeah, so not only does Gambit, he ends up, charging his cards with, the kinetic energy and shit like that to be able to throw them, 52 grenades, like we said, but he's also able to charge his staff so that when he hits, it hits with the force of an explosion.
Yes.
So I always find that. So we always see Gambit with his cards and his staff. Those are his two weapons: his playing cards and the staff. I remember an episode of X-Men, the animated series, where like there's some shit going on. The X-Men are fighting Sentinels, and Gambit's just like minding his own business. He's at a mall trying to buying new playing cards and shit. And like a Sentinel ends up bursting into they were chasing a Sentinel, and he ends up bursting into the mall that Gambit's at. Completely unaware, he's sitting there flirting with the fucking cashier and shit as he's trying to buy these playing cards. He's paying no mind to the fucking Sentinel rampaging outside the store. He's sitting there just flirting with the fucking cashier. That shit was so fucking dope. That shit was so fucking funny. Mm. Sorry, I had to take another sip. Whew. Damn. Shout out to Terramata Tequila. Fuck,
No.
that shit's good.
Now I remember the instance we're talking about because she goes, "You must really enjoy playing solitaire." He goes, he's like, "I do unless I have someone else to play with." And
Like I said,
another
this
thing.
motherfucker was so smooth.
Gambit actually has part of his mutation. He has a hypnotic charm and a sexual lure.
Yes. But again, at the same time, he's also from New Orleans. He's also a Cajun dude, bro. I haven't met anyone from New Orleans that ain't got some kind of savvy about them. Super witty, super savvy. Like I ain't never met someone from New Orleans that ain't, you know what I mean, that ain't got some kind of savvy about them, bro. That's just a New Orleans charm. That's just a New Orleans charm right there. Like, I'll put it this way, my love for the New Orleans culture is what really made me love. I don't know if you remember Scooby Doo on Zombie Island.
Of course I do.
That shit was a hit. It is the best Scooby Doo movie of all fucking time. It beats out the live actions. Although the first live action came close, the second live action fell maybe third to me. But animated wise, that was the best fucking Scooby Doo movie, hands down. Maybe we should do an episode on Scooby Doo.
Jesus. Yeah, let's do an episode about the draft dodgers.
Wow.
You never heard that
Wow.
theory?
No, yeah, I have. I just didn't think you were gonna go there.
Why would I not?
Damn. Damn.
And the reason why they think that that Scooby's talking is because they're all high on shrooms.
Now that one makes sense. To be honest, I smokes me a lot of weed. Honestly, I'm about to go smoke weed after the show. I am a smoker. I don't think it was shrooms. I think it was just straight weed. They were just high as shit on the good on the green. I don't think it was the shrooms. Because if you really think about it, like the only person that there was only really two people that really like interacted with Scooby, which was Shaggy and Velma.
Yeah, it's because
Like
Fred and
the
Daphne
others,
were too
like
busy fucking.
yeah, Fred and Daphne were too busy up in some room somewhere else fucking. Dude, we got to do an episode of Scooby Doo just because we can talk, just so we can talk shit, dude. Just so we can talk shit. It's not even. It's just not going to be an educational episode. It's not really going to be too much of an education episode. Just us, just talking about the bullshit that goes on within the Scooby Doo universe.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But we can also touch. Well, we'll also touch on the introspective aspect of Scooby Doo, which at the end of the day, it's always the humans are the monsters. It's always a human. It's never an actual monster
That's not always true.
until you. Yeah, I was just about to say until you get into like the movies where you got, like I said, Zombie Island, where there were really actually werecats in actual zombies, or if you get into Cyber Chase, where he was actually a monster that he was like it was actually no. No, I won't count Cyber Chase because he was the actual person that had an accident that brought him into the cyber world that gave him the powers. He was human. It was a human behind it in the end. Um, Alien Invasion when he had to deal with like the broccoli headed aliens. So yeah, that was actually a monster.
Uh,
I get
the witch's
what you got.
ghost.
What was it? The
The
Witch's
witch's ghost.
Ghost? Oh, the Witch's fucking Ghost when we first get introduced to the Hex Girls. Oh my god. Oh
Let's
my
see,
god.
the Boo Brothers.
The Voodoo Brothers. Is that the one with the ska dudes?
Nah, the Boo Brothers. It's the
Oh, the
one
Boo Brothers.
where Shaggy goes back to his ancestral home because I think his uncle had passed away and he left him the house. But he had to solve all these
Yeah.
clues to find out where the fortune was. And then come to find out, he hires this group of brothers that are supposed to help him. And come to find out these niggas were ghosts.
Yo, no, so wanna know what I love about that? I think we know where I'm going. So that storyline ends up getting redone in Supernatural. So the brothers that he ends up hiring is actually the Winchester brothers.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah. So bro, I highly recommend watching that episode. I think it was in season 14. I think it was season 14 of Supernatural. I highly recommend watching that because that shit, it's all the entire episode pretty much like so the beginning and the end are live action, but the rest of the episode is all animated.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is fucking hilarious. It is fucking hilarious, bro. It is such a good fucking episode, and it's something that everyone wished would happen. We all hoped that it would happen because, like, there's been people like, especially when they go to Comic Cons, there's people that dress up as Sam and Dean. They drive the Black Impala, but then there's also people that go to Comic Cons dressed up as the Mystery Inc. And there's people that be driving they actually have the fucking V-Dub van, decaled out as the Mystery Machine. And I remember years ago, what happened?
I have never once seen that.
Really?
Yes.
No, and there was like a meme that came out so fucking long ago that it was the Black Impala parked next to the Mystery Machine, and they're like, damn, whatever ghost problem they have must be serious. And so based off that meme, everyone was like, "Damn, that would be really cool," because anytime, all the time, the mystery games they're only coming up with it's humans that are usually the perpetrator. It's always usually fake. But Sam and Dean. Now, what happens if a group that's usually running into fake monsters crosses over with a team that handles and deals with real monsters on a regular basis? To be honest, I don't know how we got to this conversation, but I'm gonna finish it out and then we're gonna go back to Gambit. And so eventually in season 4, I believe it's season 14. Those who are watching, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's it's definitely later seasons. It's one of the last seasons. It's either 13 or 14 because I know there's only 15 seasons. It's either 13 or 14. It's a one-off episode because Supernatural has they'll go through maybe like 5, 6, 7 episodes that are strictly story based, and then they'll have throughout the season they'll have about like 3, 4 episodes that are like one-off episodes that are separate from the storyline.
Yes.
And this is one of them.
I remember seeing it advertised, but I never watched it.
It's solid. It is a solid episode. You would highly enjoy it. You would definitely get quite a few fucking chuckles out of this shit.
I'll watch that myself.
I highly recommend it. And so with that, like they ended up that storyline. They ended up no. So it wasn't Shaggy. It was the episode where Scooby's ancestor ends up passing away. It's like his uncle or something ends up passing away, which is an actual episode in the original Scooby-Doo series. Not Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But Where Are You, Scooby-Doo? Like the actual Scooby-Doo, the original Scooby-Doo series, where Scooby's uncle passes away, and it's like murder mystery style. So the only way that they can get their fortune is if they spend the night in the mansion. Excuse me. And within doing that, like the same scenario, the same situation happens as in the show, but the person that air quote dies actually gets murdered. It's actually murdered. Yeah, and then they end up relying on Sam and Dean, and the whole time the mystery gang, especially Velma's like, oh, it's probably just a dude in the mask that's doing it, whatever. But Sam and Dean is like, yeah, no, this is an actual like Shaggy ends up fucking breaking his arm, like his arm's actually like fucking broken. You see blood and shit, like it's a legit bloody episode. So, and you've never seen blood in Scooby-Doo before, ever. Not one of the Scooby-Doo series, whether it's whether it's Where Are You, Scooby-Doo, What's New, Scooby-Doo, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, or I'm a really big Scooby-Doo fan. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually a really big Scooby-Doo fan. Any of the Scooby-Doo series or movies, you never, ever see blood.
He said 13 Ghosts. I forgot about 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, and that 13 Ghosts was a red shirt Shaggy.
Yeah,
not green, it's red shirt Skaggy. Skaggy. Oh my!
That's the one without Fred and Delma.
Yeah, this is when they become pretty much. They're not teachers, but they're pretty much like teacher assistants at the school that's all like you got Frankenstein, Dracula, whatever. Pretty much all the Ghoul School. That's what it was. The Ghoul School. That's what it was called.
That was another great one.
That was absolutely fucking amazing. We really gotta do. I know it's gonna be a lot because we got Avatar, April, and then we got May the Force Be With You, May, coming up. But we really gotta do a Scooby-Doo episode. Cause fuck, dude, Scooby. It's been going on for so long that like it's pop culture. It's pop culture. You got people dressing up as them. You know what I mean?
Hey, how do you feel about Shaggy being black now?
Bullshit.
You're saying it's bullshit?
I don't want to hear shit. Know? I don't want to hear shit about that bullshit ass series. That piece of shit.
Wow, he just got real bad for that. Okay.
I don't want to hear shit about that shit. The only reason why they're coming out with a season 2 is because it was so bad that it got traction.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
so
Velma series on Max. The Velma series on Max.
it's a She-Hulk scenario.
It's a She-Hulk scenario. I'd rather watch She-Hulk. I actually did watch She-Hulk. I didn't watch that shit. I watched like 2 episodes of that shit. It was like, yo. What's her name? Mindy what? The chick that made the show and she voiced Velma? Mindy
Don't ask,
something?
don't ask
What was
me.
that? Yeah, I know. It was Mindy something. She's a Indian actress. Don't get me wrong, I love her as an actress. Her show was literally called The Mindy Show, which was pretty much it was a live action show, clearly, but it was like not reality drama. It was it was pretty much the same genre as Jane the Virgin. Yeah. No. She wrote Velma, produced Velma, and was the voice actor for Velma, and absolutely flipped all of it on its fucking head. I don't mind Velma being any other race. Do not mind any of the race bands because honestly, I've always seen Shaggy as a black dude from the beginning. He has all the stereotypical black traits. This nigga's high all the time, eats all the fucking time, and don't fuck with ghosts or anything scary. I don't know about you, but you know what? All right, so it's my level, my percentage of caucasity that allows me to fuck with scary shit.
Mm-hmm.
But without that level of caucasity, I'm not fucking with scary shit.
I don't do supernatural shit. Anything that involves ghosts. No wild.
Yeah.
Nah.
So that's your level of blackness that don't allow you to fuck with supernatural shit. Because our people are so in tune with the supernatural, we know you don't fuck with it. You leave it alone. As black people, we genetically know that you don't fuck with the supernatural realm. You don't fuck with spirits. You don't fuck with the gods. You let them be and do what the fuck ever they're doing. But I'll be honest, it is my decent, I'll say 25% caucasity. Because I am mixed. My grandmother is white. One of my grandmothers is white. White, as white as can be. But yeah, she's not white tea, she's white. She's just white. She's regular white. She's a little spicy. My grandmother a little spicy. She's a little bit spicy. But like it's that little bit of caucasity that has me be like, I hear a knock and I stop and I think to myself, all right, there's a battle between my black side and my white side. Do I go see who's there or do I get the fuck out of here? 9 times out of 10, all right, I lied. 8 times out, I lied again. 7 times out of 10, my black side prevails. Nigga, get the fuck out of here. Whatever it is, it ain't for you. But there's that other percentage of the times where I pull up my phone and open my voice recorder and try to catch some EVPs. Like I can tell you about a situation where I did some shit and I shouldn't have did some shit. I know it's off topic, but like I was walking through the cemetery one time with saying Jag, and Jag will attest to this shit. And Jag is 50-50. He's 50 black and 50 caucasity. So he's 50-50. And walking through the cemetery at night wasn't supposed to be at night. It just so happened that when we went to take the shortcut through the cemetery, it happened that nightfall ended up happening while we was walking through the bitch. And so while we doing this shit, my little bit of caucasity came out. I popped out my voice recorder and I'm like, hey, anybody here trying to say some shit? Anybody here want to say some shit? Walk through the area that was during the racist times and shit like that. Hey, y'all got a problem with some black people walking through the area? Nothing. Yeah, not a thing. Not a motherfucking thing. Right? Now we get up to the other side. You know what cemetery I'm talking about.
I know.
For all those who don't know, TSB Productions is based in Schenectady, New York. I know none of y'all have heard of it before, but it's based in Schenectady, New York. There is a cemetery here, which is the most haunted cemetery. I know we are so off topic. I know. There's a cemetery here, which is the most haunted cemetery in the entire fucking area, known as Vale Cemetery. My dumbass, me and Saint Jag, we walking through, which you'll see Saint Jag later next month. He'll be back later next month. We're sitting there, we walking through the bitch. I'm doing this shit, blah blah blah. And now there's an area of the cemetery that unfortunately and sadly is dedicated, that is specifically the child cemetery, which you have to pass in order to get out of the cemetery. You have to pass it coming in, and you have to pass it going out. Now I'm doing all these voice recordings, not catching shit. We walking, first off, we pass a crossroads. So anyone who knows your supernatural history, a crossroads has a lot of supernatural pretty much affinity. Crossroad demons and shit like that. Whatever. We pass the crossroads. We get to the side of the child cemetery. My caucasity says, give me a sec, let me sip real quick. My caucasity decides to say, are there any children here that would like to say something to us? And immediately, from the right side of us, mind you, it's fall time, so there's leaves on the ground. Leaves start rustling towards us, and we audibly hear a child's giggle. At that moment in time, my black side kicked in. It beat the shit out of my Caucasian side, put it in jail, and my black side kicked in, and we full sprint. Full sprint. This is like from where we were to the exit of the cemetery. I had to be an Olympic. I had to be like 2 Olympic pools.
What in the fuck was going through your mind when this shit happened?
It was my caucasity.
See,
It was my
it's moments like this.
Yeah, it was my caucasity that kicked in. It was definitely my caucasity. Now, mind you, I'll let y'all know, Saiyan Jag is a big dude. Lord Triage is the big dude. He's bigger than Lord Triage. Lord Triage is bigger than Saiyan Jag. He's a big. Yeah, he's like. No offense, LT. No offense.
Nah, no,
LT. All right, LT is like is 2 Saiyan Jags. Right? If you look at our Instagram, you'll see a photo or see photos of us. Go follow us on Instagram. As I'm halfway through this Olympic yard dash, I'm like, oh my god, I just left my boy in a ghost incident. As soon as I had that thought, this nigga Saiyan Jag passes me full speed. I'm running my full speed as fast as I can. This nigga Saiyan Jag flies fucking past me. And after we get to the entrance, after we get outside of it, I go back to the voice recorder, and sure enough, there's a fucking child's. After I ask the question, there's a child's giggle, and then you hear the leaves rustle towards us. Yes. So, with that being said, Shaggy is a black man in my mind, so I had no problem with him being a black man in Velma. It made sense. He's a black man with like starter dreads. I'd say more so like Bantu knots, but starter dreads. But they made Freddy racist. They made Velma a
Whoa,
slut. They made
whoa,
Shaggy
whoa.
black and completely against weed. And they made Velma a bitch. And there was no Scooby.
That escalated so quickly.
It did. No, but these are literally the actual attributes of the characters. So as I'm watching, Freddy is very like he's like subtly racist. He makes a lot of really subtle racist comments.
You're like Zordon?
Daphne, what was that?
Like Zordon?
Are we talking about Zordon because he made the Black Ranger black,
And the Yellow Ranger? And the Yellow
yellow,
Ranger and Asian?
and the Native American Ranger red eventually?
Yeah.
And then, we'll say they made the White Ranger redneck, made a Black Ranger black because he black, made a Yellow Ranger yellow because stereotypical Asians are yellow bullshit. But they are. But so yeah, not Zordon level of racist because Zordon level racist wasn't really that racist. It just kind of
He said Zordon's
unfortunately.
level of racist. It wasn't really that racist. Did you know
Yeah,
that sounded?
Zordon's level of racist was below Freddy in the new Velma series level of racist. The shit was still racist, but it also had a bit of it had explanation to it because the Rangers they got were based off their personality. Trini was very fierce, so they gave her the saber-tooth tiger, which was yellow.
Okay.
Gave Zach the Macedon, which was black, the black Macedon because of the strength and durability of a black man.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Jason the Red Ranger because he was white and he was a redneck. Um, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I do apologize. But no, they gave him the T Rex, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, because the Tyrannosaurus Rex was like the most profound. It was seen as the strongest of all the dinosaurs. So there was a reason for each one of them to get their ranges. So his level, Zordon's level of racist falls below Freddy's level of racist. His shit was like white privileged kid raised by racist parents.
Whoa.
Level of racist. Yeah, so he was like rich kid raised by prejudiced parents type racist. So he didn't know. To him, he didn't know it was prejudice or racist. That's just the way he was raised. So that level of prejudice and racist falls above Zordon's level of racist because Zordon had a reasoning for giving them what they got.
Uh-huh. Sure he did. Sure he did. Sure he
Listen, you
did.
want to talk about the level of racist? I want to talk about the fact that Zordon had a child fetish, had a teenage fetish. He always picked air quote teenagers that looked like they were 30-something years old.
Well, the whole thing with teenagers is that he wanted someone who had close to a fully developed mind, but someone who was not going to question. And that's the funny thing because like the Rangers asked questions, but they didn't necessarily question his decisions.
Exactly. And last time I checked, that sounds like a predator to me.
But that's also one of the things that where you look at Shattered Grid, where look what happened when Tommy Oliver was given a choice.
Yeah, but again, that sounds like a predator to me. If you give an underage woman a choice, she's probably gonna say no. I don't want to fuck an old man.
That Jesus Christ. Wow.
Yeah. Right. So yeah. Yeah, Zordon was a predator. He was a predator. And he literally said, hey, if y'all don't take these ranger powers, y'all world's gonna get destroyed. So y'all gonna listen to me. You're gonna do what I tell you to do. You're gonna take these motherfucking morphers and you're gonna go out there and you're gonna fight these motherfucking monsters that could possibly kill you. But you either die or get killed. You either you fight to your death or you get killed. That sounds like a predator to me. He gave them an ultimatum.
But
It made
nah,
it
like,
sound fabulous.
but if you read the comics, because the day Rita showed up was from then on known as Arrival Day, because like it completely shaped the Angel Grove to its core. People moved out. People don't want to live there no more. No one felt safe, and the only reason why the city didn't completely evacuate was because of the Power Rangers.
Yeah, but again, that's comic books. That's them trying to make shit not be sound as bad as it originally did.
Oh, all
Because
right.
again, the Rangers in Shattered Grid in that storyline, the Rangers, took on the mantle of Power Rangers because they had love for their city and their town and their world, and they didn't want it to be destroyed. In the show, Zordon was like, "Hey, listen, you got two choices: either you be Power Rangers and fight these villains and not die, or the villains take over and you die." But you fighting these niggas could also make he actually never told them they could possibly die. So Trini had no clue that she could die. Again, if we're going to canonly, what is it, how do you say it? Is it chronologically or
Chronologically,
canonly or in canon? No, not chronologically. Chronologic is in order. We're talking about canon. There's a certain word that goes along with chronologically, but canonically, pretty much in canon. If we're looking at the last shit that came out, well, the one before, Cosmic Force, Cosmic Fury, when they, once a Ranger, always a Ranger, once and always. Technically, Jorah never told the Rangers that they could die.
wow, you're going really far off base with this one. All right,
Absolutely,
I get
but
where
he
you're
never
going with
told them
this.
they could die. He
I
never
get where
told
you're
them they could
going
die
with
by
this.
fighting them.
But this is getting really dark, and we're going very off subject matter.
We're over time right now, so no holds bar. No
But
holds
see,
bar right now. We're over time.
when I start going nutty and shit, I know it's comedy gold, but listen, man, I get where you're going with this. I have my feelings on that movie. You know the one I'm talking about.
Agreed. Agreed. We both do. We both do.
For
Um.
every one thing that was done right, there was a few things done wrong. So let's just
Yeah. It was a 1 for 2. It was a 1 for 2. One thing done right. Two things done wrong. But he never told them that they could actually die. So Trini had no clue that she could actually fucking die. They're thinking, oh, these powers are gonna save us, keep us safe while we fight the forces of evil. On some Powerpuff Girls shit. But then guess what would happen? Same thing with Powerpuff Girls. We end up seeing one of them die. I'm just saying. But yeah, no, yeah. So Remy LeBeau, yeah, he's a really awesome character. He's really, really interesting. Especially, Gambit he's a very deep character. There's a lot of shit that goes into him, and again, has a really awesome Cajun swagger to himself. Um, Pretty much Omega level mutant. Yeah. Listen, don't blame me. You know what happens. You know what happens when it gets to this point.
I do know what happened. You're right.
Everyone knows what happens when it gets to this point. I intentionally pace out my Terramana consumption so that by the last 30 minutes, shit goes to hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's intentional. It's highly intentional. It's highly intentional.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
When you make our reels, do you actually tag the Terramana tequila in it?
Holy shit, I don't. Oh my god. I just realized I really don't. Damn. My bad, bro. Holy shit, you are right. I really don't.
You
All
know,
right, all right,
you always say
all right.
Terramana tequila that you're drinking it and that you're giving away the basically the free marketing for it, but you never actually. I don't think you ever actually put it in any of the reels. Put a reel up with you saying it and then tag the Terramana in it. That's why I was like, you know what?
That is a good fucking point. Yeah, I really don't tag. I really don't. I don't hashtag them. Wow. Did you see The Rock just came out with a fucking skincare line?
Oh, what?
Yeah, he just came out with a line of skincare products.
You know what? I'm not surprised. I imagine he's got his hands in everything.
Yep, he's a wrestler. He's an actor. He has an alcohol brand. Now he has a skincare brand. He has
Does
an
have
energy drink brand.
clothing line.
Honestly, eh, oh yeah, and his clothing line with fucking Under Armour. I will say Zoa is not bad. Zoa is pretty good. It has a really good flavor, and it does actually keep you energized. I think I've only had one before, because you don't really see it too much up here. You don't really see Zoa too much up here. Rock, if you end up seeing this, bro, start talk to your distributors. Get them to they gotta push more to upstate New York, bro. We don't really see it too much up here, at least where I am, where we are.
And literally, we've been doing this show for going on 3 years
3 years.
now. And every
Yeah.
time he starts, he always mentions that he has a glass of Terramana tequila.
It literally is the best fucking tequila I ever had, and I've had a lot of tequila in my lifetime. I'm only 29. I'm about to be 30 this year. I've had a lot of tequila. I've had Patron, Casamigos, fucking the bottom shelf like horrible ass tequilas, you know. But Terramana is the best tasting tequila that I've ever had. It's super smooth. You can really mix it with a lot of different flavors, and it comes out great. And it is the best tequila that I've ever had chilled. When it's not chilled, it goes down like every other tequila, kind of harsh. But when this shit is chilled, when it's ice cold, when you take that bottle out of the freezer, and it's alcohol, so it doesn't freeze. We take it out the freezer, and the bottle starts to frost over. So you take it out of the freezer, you sit it on your counter, and you let the bottle frost over. Once it frosts over, then you pour it, and it comes out like fucking syrup, and it's super sweet. It goes down super smooth. Right now, my tequila it's kind of warm. It's cool, but it's kind of warm. Mm, mm. And it's good. It doesn't burn. There's no burn going down. Yet you drink like expensive ass fucking tequila like Patron, and that shit feels like you just swallowed a fucking cup of nails. Like it's tequila, it's alcohol. You know, you're still gonna get that burn, but it's not like fucking you swallowed a cat and the nails are fucking scratching down your throat.
Wow, that's a vivid expression.
Yeah, yeah. I could have went worse, but I'm not going to. I could have went way worse. Still cat analogy wise, but I'm not gonna go there because that's kind of fucked up, kind of gross. So I'm not going there. Um, but yeah, no. Fucking Terramana tequila is is like the best tasting tequila. You can taste the agave. You can taste the sweetness. in it as you drink it. And it's something that you can. I'm on like my third glass right now, and I'm just now getting fucking stupid. It's something that you can sip and drink. You can have like 2 glasses before you're like, dude, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's a very enjoyable tequila,
Mm.
and that's crazy. I think, Sarah, thank you for bringing that up. I really don't tag them as much as I really should. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of reels. I know I'm a little slow on pumping out the reels for a podcast, but I usually wait by like 3 episodes and then I start kind of like pumping out from each episode. Um, but yeah, no, definitely. I'll definitely clip this part specifically. This part, I'll definitely clip this part specifically, so that we can make sure, so that when we put them out there like that. Again, for those of you watching, I highly recommend Terramana Tequila. If you're a drinker, Terramana Tequila. A lot of people are like, oh, tequila gets me, makes me do bad things. Okay, granted, tequila definitely does make people do bad things. Definitely makes people make bad choices. Definitely gets people into a lot of trouble. I've definitely been there many times before. Um, but yeah. But also before this, I actually was drinking some Irish cream, Bailey's Irish cream. It was actually vanilla mint. So just to celebrate St. Patty's Day, St. Me Day. Um, so I was drinking that beforehand. So it's probably also. I'm pretty sure Irish cream is made with whiskey. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure it's made with whiskey. So yeah, I was drinking that before this, just to celebrate St. Patty's Day. I really didn't do much. As you can see, our layout today is to celebrate St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all the Irish out there. I also am a certain degree of Irish, on both sides, and one side is my grandmother is Irish. The other side is from my father, who is Bayesian, is Caribbean. Um, just is on a historical fact note, so we can end on a positive note. It's kind of negative, actually. Um, so yeah, Barbados was English ruled, but one of the families that slave traded through Barbados was Irish, and just so happens that my family, unfortunately, was owned by an Irish family. Um, Thus, I also am part Irish. My entire name, if you guys know my government name, it's completely Irish from beginning to the end. All the way through, beginning to the end. So, I celebrate St. Patrick's Day, both for my lineage and the bullshit that comes with my heritage of the slave trade. Salute, happy St. Patrick's Day. This has been another awesome episode. I know we definitely went off the rails at the end of this episode. I know, I understand. But y'all love it. That's why you watch. You love it. You love the off the rails. You love the knowledge that we drop for you guys. And you love the off the rails parts of it. So this has been another episode of the Super Breakdown. Definitely check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Instagram. So all the social media, the Super Breakdown, you'll find us. You know the TSB logo. You see it up in the top left corner. TSB. It's what we do. We love pop culture. We love comic books. Tune in next week where Hellfire Club next week?
Yes, I believe it was the Hellfire Club.
Yes, next week we'll be talking about the Hellfire Club. Last week was Juggy.
Correct.
Yeah, last week was Juggernaut. Yeah, definitely tune in for the ending of Mutant March, and definitely tune in the beginning of April for Avatar April. April 14th, we will be interviewing, not introducing, but interviewing Demetrius Holt the proud founder of Blurred and Powerful, as well as one of the founders of Blurred Station, which is a black owned and operated streaming service that will be coming to you soon. They have recently signed Michael J. White, his wife Jillian White, as well as the one, the only Orlando Jones, Mr. Nancy himself, as producers and writers and actors on their streaming service. They got a lot going on. We will be talking with him April 14th about this. So definitely tune in to the next episode of the Super Breakdown. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage. We'll see you next week. Any last words for the people, brother?
If my life has taught me anything, it's this. Always play the cards you're dealt. I learned from Remy LeBeau, and he always plays for keeps.
And as for me, you're always solid when you got 52 hand grenades stuffed in your pocket. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you then. And as always, actually, hold on. Before we go, we have an amazing announcement for you guys. How the fuck did I forget this? Tune in April 1st. Lord Triage, what's happening April 1st?
Oh, we will be going live with our website and our merchandise.
Yes, we have our merch line. Our merch line will be going live, and our merch store will be going live April 1st at 12 p.m. April 1st, 12 p.m. We'll be going live with the merch line. We're starting off with 15 products, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and actually shoes, and actually a sneaker line as well. So we will be going live. Oh, wow, excuse me. My apologies. April 1st with our merch line. Check out www.thesuperbreakdown.com and click the merch icon, and you will have full access to all of our merch there. You'll be able to purchase the merch on the website from there, and it will be delivered to your house. So look, if you like our Fuck Prep Time sweatshirts that we've been advertising for the last year,
Fuck prep time.
Fuck Prep Time. If you like those sweatshirts, you like those t-shirts, check it out. We have Loki shit. We have Black Panther merchandise. We have Winnie the Pooh merchandise. We have so much shit coming to you, and we have more ideas coming up. So please stay tuned to our merch website as we're dropping more and more merch and more designs. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. It's a big milestone for us. We are really excited to drop this for you guys. So definitely check out www.thesuperbreakdown.com and check out our merch site. April 1st, 12 p.m. We are going live. Let's get it. This has been the Super Breakdown. As always, remember, fuck prep time.
Fuck prep time.
Yeah.